everybody to the Real Estate Lab. This is Randy, JJ, and Ian, and we have a very special topic this week because we were all discussing with each other of what to talk about. And I said, honestly, I haven't even focused on it because I'm so excited about the fact that summer is about to start. All of the schools are closing. Memorial Day weekend is happening. And truly, the summer is probably one of my favorite things about being a Texan. And I've lived in a couple of different places now. And when it was time for me to come back to Texas, one of the things I was looking forward to most was summertime, because it's messy, it's hot, it's full of water, it's pretty boozy, lots of drinks going around. And a lot of activities out there to be had, especially in Austin and Central Texas. JJ and Ian, what do you guys think about those thoughts?
Yeah, I love summer. My wife's a teacher. She loves summer because she's not teaching. And yeah, it's one of those, water activities, pools, lake. You get to lay back. It's cool.
Yeah.
I think that it's twofold. There are a lot of people that relocate here and they're like, for the weather. And then they get here and they're like, oh man, the weather.
Yeah.
Right? In the summer, you hit your July and you're all, some people are over the heat. So this year I'm wearing all long sleeves. I'm not letting any of my skin touch the sun unless it's I'm in the water or something like that. I just want to see. I don't like the idea of being burned. But otherwise I love it. I love it.
All
Awesome.
right. I got the wrong crowd here. I need some sun lovers. I need people that are ready to get out there and get wet and have a good time. And that is certainly sorry about that. That is certainly what Memorial Day weekend is about, in my opinion. So I decided what we should do is all of us go around and find out what's going on inside the city of Austin for Memorial Day weekend so that we can share with all of the viewers out there just the fun side of this city, because Austin does a really great job of celebrating no matter what it is that we're kind of getting ourselves involved into. But also Austin is especially equipped with having really wonderful nature, water play, outside access, people just kind of soaking that up and doing a good job of throwing some parties about it. I'll go ahead and kick us off. I have my very first one. I'm going to share my screen here. And we are going to take a look at a restaurant that just opened up on Lake Travis. It's called Vincent's. They had to close for a little bit because of...
I think I've heard about this restaurant.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen events happening over there.
Yeah, so it's a waterfront restaurant that is just at the tip of Hudson Bend, and they're going to have Suede playing. So another kind of fun feature of Austin, obviously, is all of the great musical talent that we have. And so Suede is a very fun cover band. They play somewhere every single weekend inside of Austin, and they're going to do 3 nights of music here at Vincent's. And so this is a waterfront restaurant, and I thought I had the actual restaurant pulled up. Have I switched tabs yet? I'm just sharing my tabs, sorry. So it's where you can pull up your actual boat to the restaurant and then just dine in and enjoy the restaurant and everything. I guess I'm not very good at sharing my screen. I'm sorry. I need to switch over to my new tab.
Pull your boat up. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, pull your boat up. It is very cool. Okay, there we go. So they have a really nice atmosphere right here on the lake. Restaurants, it's going to be all American. They always host restaurants, host a bunch of different musical bands. And so to me, this is just very classic Texas, that you are going to be lakeside, be able to enjoy the summer sun, have lots of drinks, have access to great bands, and just watch the sunset. So that was my first one that I wanted to pull up because we get to enjoy the beautiful Lake Travis while also enjoying a very fun, reputable Texas band.
Oh, that does look fun. Do y'all have a boat?
When you say the lake, can you tell people which lake you're referring to?
Yeah, so I am talking about Lake Travis. And so and you would go up to Hudson Bend. So this is going to be about 20 minutes from downtown Austin. Yeah. There's
Sorry, what were you saying, JJ?
Lake Austin, which travels down from Lake Travis and goes in front of the actual downtown Austin. And so that's Lake Travis. It looks like a river to everybody else, Lady Bird Lake. But then at the very top of that is going to be Lake Travis. And that's going to be where you have the majority of the boaters having their party. It's where you find Devil's Cove. It's where you find Hudson Bend and Lakeway, which is also a very popular kind of lake town right next to Austin. So yes, thank you, because I'm doing a very poor job at sharing my screen. So thank you. So right there at the top of Hudson Bend, if you could point for them, and that is where you're going to find the restaurant. Hudson Bend, just for real estate purposes, by the way, is ETJ jurisdiction, which does allow you to own property that can be Airbnb. So just a little tip for you there for people that try to invest in Austin.
Very
What's
timely
ETJ
point.
again?
What was that?
What's ETJ again?
That's a jurisdiction that is outside of the city limits, and so you're not constrained by all of the massive amount of rules that Lakeway or Austin are going to have about having short-term rental properties. And so you can it's kind of like the wild, wild west, in my opinion. If you pick up a property in the Hudson Bend area, you can chop up a 2 to 3 acre lot, which is definitely for sale up around there, and put a bunch of little condo regimes and everything. I just got done trying to do that project with somebody last summer.
Awesome.
Extraterritorial. I actually just got off the phone with someone who's, investor, strictly Airbnb. That's all they care about. So we've got, we've got to be select with where we're looking.
Yeah. JJ, why don't you pull up what you found for us to share?
All right. I didn't choose, spoiler alert, any lake water activities, and most of my picks are Central Austin. I had to kick off my historical thing. So I knew there was a Texas State Cemetery. Are you familiar with this? Off of East 7th Street. Mm-hmm. And it's historical because the people that are buried there, this is the website, who can be buried at the Texas State Cemetery, basically former legislatures, elective officials. The Bush family has plots out there.
Oh, wow.
So I was going to see what they're doing. Yeah. And what they're going to be doing is an annual Memorial Day celebration on Monday, and it's at 10 a.m. and they're going to pay respects to, let's see, it says the Patrick Henry chapter of the Texas Society Sons of the American Revolution. Ceremony take place on Republic Hill in southwest portion of the cemetery. There was Lieutenant Colonel Alana Cook and who else? First Army Assistant Chief of Staff. Yeah, Colonel Cook.
Did I miss where you said this was I think I might have, where it's located at? What part of the?
So check this out. This is really, and it's really across from their entertainment districts, really. So here's a map. If you're on East 11th or even East 7th, because you'll see like a Revival Coffee, Kebabalicious. You'll see some of these, Leach's Cantina here. So right across the way is this historical Texas State Cemetery. Even the remains of Stephen F. Austin are here.
That's
at the cemetery.
Really remarkable. I had no idea that was right in the heart of the city, but it almost makes sense since we are the capital, I suppose. That's really great.
Yeah, because the especially on the east side, because it's very urban, and for the most part, the east side has a lot more entertainment districts. I think downtown does have the Capitol, historical buildings. I think with the east side, it's surprising to kind of have it there, but that's where it's at.
And they're doing this on Monday or throughout the weekend? Okay.
Monday at 10 a.m.
I can't remember if I was there for Memorial Day, Labor Day, or Veterans Day, but they had a ceremony going on, and it's a really cool place if you're into history and that sort of thing. And it, like you said, it's right across. What was the it started with the C. It was the adult ice cream. What was that place?
I know what you're talking about. There's alcohol and ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh, my sister told me about
it. Was right next to there. Right.
Yeah. You could be in, eating food in the cemeteries right there. And you're like, that's the Texas State Cemetery.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just a really if you're into history, it's a very historic place, and I mean, there are rows and rows of flags, and you always see people. It's full almost all the time. It's a good spot.
Did you say you
lots
had
of
been
government
there
officials.
before, Ian? Not to this
Yeah.
particular event,
No,
but
no,
just
no. To this, not that event. I don't know if it was Memorial Day, Labor Day, or Veterans Day, but I remember my brother-in-law, all of them served in some fashion, and so they came into town and they really wanted to spend some time there. I was like, absolutely, let's go.
yeah, that sounds
That's
great.
awesome. What you got, Ian?
Oh, I've got some things and some stuff. So let's start with Mark's question, because it is related to real estate. I know people are watching, and this is about Memorial Day, but first I want to point out, Kevin, you smiled. I know why you smiled. I just want to say it was another call with an investor.
Like there's a hat on that emoji too, or something.
Yeah, cowboy hat. So Mark asks, and the reason why I'm reading, I don't know if you can see this, Liberty, on your, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. Randy, on your phone.
Liberty Hill.
Say it again. It was Liberty Hill.
Liberty Hill.
So I'm reading Mark's comment. I'll be out in Liberty Hill next week for pre-drywall inspection. What shouldn't I miss that only comes in Austin this time of year? Are you talking about other than the allergens in the air? Because right now I'm dying. Is anyone else having that issue?
I got bad allergies.
Yeah, it's horrible. So because of that, I actually want to mention that cleaning, right? And if they're going to put the walls up and they don't do a good job of cleaning the surface, you don't want that kind of stuff. You want to check for moisture, right? You want to check for, I mean, if it, I don't think it's rained recently, but I've seen it where it's rained and then they put the walls up and then mold grows.
I mean, we had a hailstorm just 2 nights ago. Did you guys?
And then what should the builder do in that case? If there was a hailstorm, what should they be checking? All the things, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I got another one. Sorry. Go ahead. You got something, JJ? Or
I was saying if there's hail, then roof for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add some complexity. I had a client who had sediment, rocks, like larger pebbles, get caught in their pipes. And so it wasn't until the house was completely finished that the builder had to come back and tear up their floor to get it out of the pipes. And they were displaced for weeks. So that's the kind of thing that you, like, if you have an inspection, have them check everything.
Yeah,
right?
get the face inspection every single time. Dang.
You can check for beams that aren't secure, the way they fasten things together, for example, right? So if you've got joints that look a little off, or the wood has what are they, abrasions, like major abrasions, there's all sorts of things, man. That's why you get an inspector.
I think just to answer his question too, because he was actually asking about something to go do in Austin, since he'll be in town for the pre-drywall inspection. That was the way that I read the comment.
That's my
That's
initial
so
thought.
funny. Let's see. Hold on. I didn't read that at all.
But I would recommend, if you're there during the week, you could try the Barton Springs pool or the Deep Eddy pool.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
They're going to be crowded. So if you can just kind of ignore that part, it is actually a very unique experience of Austin. And it's very cold. The Barton Springs pool is very cold. So you really don't want to swim in there unless it's very hot outside like it is right now. Otherwise, like a wetsuit is almost required sometimes. So I think that those are some really neat classic Austin experiences that I would recommend checking out.
So I think there's Liberty Hill has the benefit of butting up against Georgetown and Leander a little bit.
I missed that part of his comment that he's going to be in Liberty Hill. So I actually, so sorry. My comment is for Austin. So yeah, Ian, take it away.
I was just going to say, like, the San Gabriel, there are trails that go all the way from there down to the square in Georgetown. And there are dinosaur tracks over there. There's Lake Georgetown there, and out in Liberty Hill, there's Dahlia's Cafe. Beautiful place. They have something called a Hillbilly Brownie. You'll thank me later. If you like food, rodeo, there's all sorts of stuff that I don't know if it's happening this weekend, but there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff. All right, what am I pulling up? I'm pulling up.
Yeah, I think it's still your turn to have something come up.
Oh, you want to see stuff? Let's see.
Memorial Day weekend, summertime activities.
All right, so I'm going to share this site. Where is it at? There we go. So I love this site. It's called Do 512. I've probably mentioned it before. And you can choose a calendar of events. So I usually scroll down. And for this weekend, for example, they have like tonight, they have something called Freaky Friday, an inappropriate comedy show. Sounds fun, right? It sounds great. I don't care where it is. If I have time at 8:00, I don't, but that's a great example. And they do it all the time. And it shows the different places and, what their ratings are. So this is what I would share. I would share something like this Do 512 to find out what's going on.
The ratings part is really cool. I like to see how many people are following an event because I don't think I'm as cool as I need to be to know what's a good one to go check out. And so I like to peek over at other people's shoulders on what they think is going to be really neat to follow too. But yeah, anytime that I have like a date night or something some spare time, I go to Do 512 to give me the scoop instead of, it's like what the newspaper, the green sheet was previously. It's very cool. Okay. I guess we'll come back over to me then.
Yeah, we have a few questions we want to go through.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
This is funny, Dinosaur D. It's good. Because we were talking about the tracks.
Oh, yes.
It's good. So congrats, Mark, like Kevin says, on the pre-drywall walk.
Yeah.
Oh,
one step at a time.
Nancy. Hey, Nancy says, have a great weekend.
Yeah. Yes, everybody.
All right. We've got this question. It's going to interrupt our flow, but we're going to ask it. Ready?
How's the market looking? That was actually, so that was my other idea of what we should talk about is like, we should just keep talking about the shift because it keeps going. But we wanted to have a little bit of fun and chose the memorial topic. The market is, I'll start off from the data that I watch, is inventory kind of keeps piling on in record numbers, but our demand is still extremely strong and like kind of gobbles it up. And it's matching it and meeting it. So the demand is still carrying all this supply that is coming on, and people still find that home prices should still be appreciating this year. So just kind of in limbo in that space for what I read about. What about you guys?
I typically answer that by wondering why he's asking that. Random bruh. There's a perspective, because there's like a buyer perspective, the seller's perspective, but for buyers, interest rates are going up. For sellers, when interest rates go up, it also means that there may be some adjustment in values, in economics. I got my undergrad in economics. They always isolate like the different elements of an economic situation. So interest rates typically make prices go down, but we know that in the environment, they're like exactly what Randy's saying. There's enough demand where it doesn't necessarily completely bring the prices down, but you can't expect like a steep to the moon increase in prices like we've had in the past couple of years.
Yeah, I would say it's it's a frustrating time for my sellers right now. We had a lot of really positive talks just as recent as a month and a half ago, and it's just been such an aggressive change of pace, not in a scary way where you're not going to get a great price for your house no matter what. It's just not going to fly off the shelf and, produce these amazing over list price results for you. And then my buyers are just having a great time. It's nice having plenty to look at and time to consider. And so, yeah, it depends on who you're talking to. The sellers just need to relax and settle into this new pace that's actually better for everybody in the long term anyway, for now, as long as it doesn't keep going in a different direction. For now, it's a good balance for both sides.
I think I'm going to kind of take a different approach. I saw an article. I was actually working on a video for this. There's an article talking about it's not the feds, but the housing one. They are considering bringing back more subprime lending options.
Oh.
That would destroy us. Seriously, like, don't do it.
Share that article
If you can't,
as soon as possible.
if you can't afford a house today, that might make it seem easier, but it'll put us in a worse place tomorrow. Anyway, I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. Like I said, I'll be working on a video for that. But I think otherwise, rates actually dipped a little bit. Yay, anybody? The market has eased for houses that are regular, right? So if you don't have like an incredible house that is priced aggressively or priced well for a high demand area, then now as a buyer, you have a shot. Mm-hmm. I actually had somebody ask me today, they said, well, what should we talk about on the inspection report? And for the last 2 years, it's like, doesn't matter.
Yes.
Right. So today, it's like, you know what? We could probably get away with some conversations about this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
For your buyers.
Yeah, for the buyers. And just to answer Nancy, we can't tell Jeremy's going to do it on his own channel. It's his own thing. What's this? Who wants to read this?
In Australia, the housing market is so nuts, they are allowing people to dip into their 401ks to get a deposit together. Average house price there is 1.2 million.
That's a lot.
Wow. I've never heard that before about Australia. 1.2 million.
Well, the dip in a 401k.
So like country.
You're borrowing against an investment and now you owe twice. Right? That's hard.
The 401k tax?
Well, the 401k tax is definitely one. And also you're pulling away from something that should be growing and compounding.
Oh, the opportunity cost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And I actually had someone say that to me yesterday and earlier today about time to refi, pull some money out of the house and reinvest that equity. And I'm like, I guess things are on sale right now. Mm-hmm. Right. But if you do that and then something happens with your employment, right?
Yeah.
Liar loans. That's not funny, but true.
I like that name. I don't like liar loans, but that's a good name for liar loans.
So basically what we're talking about is if they don't run any checks on your ability to repay and they're just handing out loans like candy, it put us in a really bad position years ago. And so we, as humans, as a culture of humanity, the one thing that makes us advanced is that we can work together and learn together and not repeat our mistakes. So this seems a little off-putting. Anyway, that's a rant.
And you have to pay it back into your 401k with a certain time. Can't remember exactly from Dinosaur D. Yeah, that just sounds... I'm still kind of shocked by your news about the subprime loans. So it's like the first thing I'm going to be Googling whenever this video is over.
Right. It's an evaluation. It doesn't mean they're going to pass anything, but the fact that they're even considering it is like, okay, people, we need to replace somebody somewhere because that's just not smart. Look at this. This is a good one.
So Mark says Silicon Valley buyers may be waiting as the market has cut their stock values by large amounts that they were going to use to buy as Texas prices have still risen. I actually had a buyer that I was touring my listing specifically bring this up, that a lot of buyers in Austin are tied to these tech companies and the stock is so uncertain at this time that, you know, they're just not participating right now. I'm like, yeah, that's a really important observation.
I'm looking at this. Someone want to read that?
Dinosaur D. Was he mentioning Kevin? And that's the madness of it all. It takes an average Australian 8 years to get a deposit together for an average condo, $600,000.
So let's think about that for a minute, right? How many people buy a house, just statistically, before the age of 30?
I
Right?
don't know.
It's not.
Statistic to look up. I wonder.
Yeah, I don't think it's a lot.
I think that was kind of the talk of the town, is that it took millennials quite some time to get their shit together.
Right.
And
So all that to say, I don't think it's much different here.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. And there are people that want to, but it's still a smaller portion of the population, unless we're referring specifically to the tech community that had way too much money for way too long here.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's a summit, man. I bought so much Tesla, and then there were a few others that I'm stoked about. Yes, and not a CPA.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. What do you want to do next, Randy?
If people are wanting for us to keep discussing the market shift, we can keep going with that. Does the group have an opinion on that? Or I can finish off with doing one of the last things that I pulled up for Memorial Day.
We can tie them in. Let's talk about Memorial Day, and then if there are more market questions,
maybe do one more Memorial Day activity.
Okay, I have a good one that kind of summarizes a little bit in the theme of what I wanted to share about Austin in the first place.
Cool.
And I have technical issues on my end, so while it looks like I'm a dodo with sharing my screen, I'm just having a new setup today that I wasn't ready for. Okay, we already looked at that. Okay, so this is austintexas.org, and I like this page to share as an example because it kind of actually goes through like my favorite categories of what Austin is all about.
I can't see your screen to share it. This is a good question. We want to come back to this.
I guess so. I thought I had it shared properly, and if it's not showing, then I don't know what's wrong with it. So let's just go back to the questions.
JJ, you have something?
I have a little something.
Do it.
I feel like we need to hit more lake stuff. But I got a Central Austin event. It's called Hot Luck Fest. And this was created by the Franklin's owner and the Mohawk owners. And they're simply putting together food and music at their venues. So you got Mohawk.
So cool. Great find.
Red River. Yeah. And then Franklin's.
Does anybody, can you tell people what Franklin's is? And Mohawk?
I would argue that one of the best barbecue in our city and one of the best live music venues in our city in close proximity together, east side and downtown. And I thought this was cool. DJ Jazzy Jeff is performing because it makes me think of the Summertime song with Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Yes.
So that'd be cool to actually see him and his music, eat some good food. And it looks like it's basically one of these Texas backyard barbecue parties. When you go downtown, you're literally in a backyard on in a rainy street setting.
Yeah.
And you walk around a little bit, and sometimes you just feel like you're in a backyard. That's how I feel about the heat and the music and the food and some of the downtown venues.
Dressed cool, drinking beer, casual on patios, sweating. It's just
definitely sweating. Very cool. And even just to throw more downtown stuff, like Rio was a club with a pool on top of the club, and there's like
party going on
hotel pools. The W, getting into all that stuff.
It's a really kitschy small pool that's popular from the Austin Motel, and they'll sell tickets to their pool too. That's less grand than the W or the Rio, but
the one on South Congress.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they have like
you got to find your water. That's part of the game, right?
Yeah, got to get in the water. Got to cool off. And then for Franklin, there's a really great video between him and Matthew McConaughey talking about how to construct a proper burger that they put out during COVID. If you want to get to know Aaron Franklin a little bit better, that was a really fun thing that they did. So a couple of Texans talking burgers. Okay, I think that actually kind of brings us to a close on
one more. Super quick.
Yeah.
I'll keep it short.
The real estate question.
All right, so let's talk about these builders. This brings me to the one that I want to share, and it is actually from a title company. Okay, so let's see. Where is the share? I gotta make it quick. Get out of my way. All right, so don't just look at this title company. Look at every title company. They have economists. They have people that go out and find things to do. They write blogs. So I'm just using this one as an example, but you can find things to do in here.
Oh, cool. Yes.
Right. And if that title company partners with any builders, there could be an opportunity for them to add that as an event. Generally, though, builders own their own title company. So if that title company has these kinds of events, it's another great way to source some of that information. Austin FC just saw the first game last week. It was great. Matthew McConaughey came out and did his. It's great. All right, that's all I wanted to share.
Beautiful.
All right. Well, everybody go out there, have a fun weekend wherever you are, and celebrate, obviously our veterans and everything that what this holiday means. Hug your loved ones, and we'll see you next week.
I love it. Thank you, everybody.
Bye,
See you
everybody.
soon. Bye.